Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the issue of aggression. And this comes right off the heels of dealing with a food aggression issue with Koji. And I have Koji here for a 2-week board and train. He's coming along very well, considering, okay, the amount of control he's holding. But again, as a German Shepherd, he has a higher level of need. So again, very, very important that a dog's needs are met by the way of leadership, but also in terms of the importance of a method. Okay, I understand once a dog has gained control, it really matters in terms of a methodology that's going to align properly to reverse a relationship problem. And so again, this is where the system of training really does shine that way. Now, talking about aggression, understand there's in terms of looking at how to deal with aggression. Again, in terms of Koji is a great example. Watch my videos I'm putting out on Koji, and now switching to a muzzle to advocate in terms of reversing a food aggression issue. And again, I use that word, switching from possessiveness to aggression. Talk about the forwardness. Okay, so I talk about even in terms of a dog that's trying to get you. Okay, in terms of Koji actually trying to really come at me. And again, the forwardness part of that. This is where again you got to be really aware. Dogs when they get to that level where they're saying, you know what, I'm gonna get Dale or whomever. Okay, when you're kind of in there, starting to get in their pond that way. How it is that they're willing, and again, as I'm talking here, I'm going to go over and check my barbecue. I'm out here actually barbecuing while I'm talking about this issue, so having a minute here, and I see a little smoke coming off the grill here, so just want to make sure that nothing's on fire. It's not. So cooking up a steak, enjoying my outdoor area here, which I'll talk about more in terms of what I'm going to be offering here in the future with rehab, kind of a place here for people to hang out with their dog for more intensive rehab. So I'm going to kind of show how that's coming along. My whole goal here is to actually, I have a very nice pergola out here, and I'm going to get a bunch of work done in terms of a walkway, some really nice stone work, a stone fireplace, and it starts to cool off here in Florida. It's nice to be able to sit out and having a little bit of a fire and some drinks and be able to relax. Privacy fence here, but again, I'll be showcasing this more as I move forward, and my goal is to add some extra kind of options to training that way. Now again, talking about the whole issue about aggression, understanding that again when you're dealing with aggression, it's understanding how to deal with it, and you get it turns into a level where a dog is willing, okay, to come at you. Okay, you got to be so aware, so careful, because all it takes is one bite for things really to change. How you feel about a dog or a situation. So, but again, the issue about being able to reverse the situation, it really does. It comes through influence being an active agent. It's got to line up. You can't engage in methods that represent, leading towards assumptions that aren't true. And this comes through using treats and beginning to take the other path. And that is very, very popular. Understand that the whole dog training world is almost like based on that. And so very important to understand why it is that you want to make sure you're following the right path. And again, I encourage you to watch my videos on Koji. Is a really good example of following the right path. Now, in terms of a display of aggression, didn't actually get that on camera. But you'll see the build up to that, though. If you watch the build up towards that, there's a video there of me doing the food exercise, and you'll see, pay attention, you'll notice Koji is starting to do certain things that are leading up to a bite situation. and I talk about that. Okay, and that happened just right after that, off camera, and I didn't capture that. However, talking through it, you know, but you'll see me working with other dogs that are showing um, some, high levels of conflict and how to deal with that. So it's all about really good leash technique. Understand that even when Koji was trying to get me, and I'll talk probably more about the skill set of that, how to really make sure you're just staying calm. It's all about its kinetic movement, and so basically you have to displace that. You got to spin the dog out. I say spin the dog out. You're not hurting the dog or anything, but you have to stay ahead of the dog in such a way that they can't get you. Yeah, but taking control at the same time. So it's a real specific type of way in which you can counter the dog's ability to do that and frustrate them, all right, to a level that they give up. Okay, because it's not going to work. So this is why, again, really have to develop a really good skill set with that. But it's the ability to stay really calm and anticipate when that starts to happen, being able to move certain ways. So you gotta be really focused, have a good level of focus. So, but again, if you sense that that's coming, for example, with Koji, that situation there, if I was training somebody or somebody was just learning, I would make sure that muzzle's on Koji at the beginning around the food, just to be safe anyway. But for me, if you have a certain level of skill, it lets you kind of get away with certain things a little bit more. Whereas if I'm teaching somebody, or they're bringing them to a certain level, I would say get that muzzle on the dog. Don't just don't operate that way, not unless you really are really good with the leash, and then you can kind of walk the razor's edge a little bit, and so if something happens, you're not going to be in a position to get bitten anyway. I'm not saying it won't happen, but you probably have the ability or skill set to be able to get out of the situation, deal with it, and that's a whole trainer type of situation. So all to say that you deal with aggression, understand there's certain dynamics. You get into some dogs, there's a forwardness to that, so they're willing to try to get you, and that's not a good sign. Okay, but it's fixable. You gotta get the muzzle going. You gotta really be intentional. Again, you'll see me doing this with Koji through my videos, is as I start to work it, I'm really with him, I'm really going to be increasing the level of demand on him around that food, and they're really getting that out of him, right? So it's like, not that you want it to trigger off, but I'll be pushing him really hard to make sure that is really, he's getting that out of him, because he's got to lose. I understand that, and when I say lose, it's not in a way that is defeating the dog to really do physical harm to them or anything like that. Lose in a way to get that out of them, so that they know that you're not going to win. This isn't going to work for you. You're going to shut that down. And even if this starts to happen, you have to submit them, but in a way that you're doing it in such a way that they still make sense of it. Just like the parent-child example. Okay, I mean, you get a child with a certain level of selfishness that's really high, and they're going into having a major meltdown, major fit. You're not, as a parent, overwhelming them and doing things that would represent abuse. You're shutting it down. Okay, you're stripping everything down. You're really getting to a point where you're making sure that child knows that that's not going to work. And so you do love them, and that's why you're doing that. You have to, that extreme level, you got to be willing to know how to deal with that stuff. So it's no different. The dogs are animals. It is different. The fact that children are animals, okay? But it's the same in a lot of ways in terms of relationship, okay? It's still power play, but it's just about how you deal with it. So all to say, encourage you to watch my Koji series. It's really good in terms of seeing that level of how I'm dealing with something to do with, like, say, food aggression. And yeah, so thanks for watching.